All right, welcome back, friends. This video, we're going to take the credentials that we stored after finishing the OAuth flow in the previous video, and we're going to try to, why don't we try to do the list endpoint first? So we're going to try to list all the videos which are related to our channel and create video objects if they don't exist already for our application here. So I think there's a couple different endpoints that we might want to use. One of them is list for videos, but the other is search. So I'm trying to remember which endpoint we want to use. And I think this might be the one, let's see. Parameter can only be used in a properly authorized request, is intended exclusively for content partners. I don't know if that's us. For mine, okay. So search for mine, this seems like a good starting point. So let's see if we can use this to pull up some videos. So we've got our app running there. And let's see. So we had some proofs of concept that we used from the guides. So in the guides section, we went to, what did we do? We went to web apps. And then we went here. So this is the YouTube client that we're going to need. So one question that you have when you're building an API integration with Rails is, where do you want to actually put the logic? Are we just going to drop it into the controller in a controller action? Are we going to make some class or set of classes that wrap up the interaction with the API? Probably a good choice. Are we just going to dump it directly into the active record model? So there's a bunch of different choices. We could put it into an active record or an active job, so we could run it as like a background job. So there's a whole bunch of different ways that we could do this. I think what I want to do is probably just create a plain old Ruby object that that we can call out to, that will figure out, given a YouTube session which has credentials, figure out how to make the API call to fetch all of the videos for that video session. So I'm just going to create, let's see. So I'm going to create here in app models a new object. Now, it turns out you can just put any plain old Ruby objects or POROs directly into this directory. Some people will create a services directory, but it doesn't really matter. You can just, so here I'm just going to call this youtube.rb. in the class YouTube. I know that YouTube, I think, has a capital T also, but it just makes the file names and stuff a little bit neater. So here, let's see. So I'm gonna use dependency injection to inject the YouTube session, and we'll be able to use the credentials off of the session to say, like, I don't know, like fetch videos, and let's see what happens. So here in the example on the documentation that Google provides here for YouTube, for interacting with the YouTube API, so they take the credentials and you create a new auth client. So let's make this, we want to probably memoize this again, right? So we'll say like @auth client or equals this thing. And then instead of client options here, we're going to use @session.credentials. So that should give us an auth client that works. And then from here, what we can do is, I guess we also need a YouTube service. Let's see. Def service @service or equals this thing. Okay, so that'll give us our YouTube service. And then finally, this is like their example for listing channels. We don't actually want channels, we want something else. And then for mine, we just say true. And we're passing our, okay, so this is gonna be service dot list. Okay, so I bet there's a service method on YouTube service for searching. So let's go double check that and just see if that is actually a thing. So you're watching kind of as I'm learning this too. So let's see. So YouTube v3 generated, probably not the generated one, right? I don't know. Let's take a look. Oh, it is maybe. Okay. So YouTube v3, that's YouTube service. So let's see if they have a file called that. YouTube service. Again, you can use this fuzzy finder just by typing T when you're on GitHub. And okay, so do they have, they don't have like a list of methods, and like look at how massive this file is, right? Like 3,000 lines. So I'm just gonna search for def search. Nope. Search. Search terms. Let's see. List searches. That sounds okay. So it's making a GET request probably to v3 search, and I think that might be the API endpoint that we want. So I'm going to go back over to the reference here and go to search, and is v3/searches the endpoint that aligns with this API? Yeah, so v3/search. So in the Ruby client library, it's list_searches. We give it a part, a channel ID, stuff, a bunch of other stuff. For mine. Okay, so it's for mine. That's an inconsistency, but that's all right. For mine. Prettier is again like giving me some issues here. So we want the method is actually called list searches, right? Is it? Yep. Okay, and then it takes a part. It takes for mine passing true. I think that'll work. I don't know if we need to pass the channel ID. We might, but I think because we're authenticated, like the credentials might have the channel ID. I don't know. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff. This is like, okay, so in programming, right, there is a concept of coupling called connaissance. This is a little bit of a tangent. Connaissance. Connaissance, I'm sure I'm spelling it wrong, of name programming. Yeah, so connaissance is a software quality metric. And so connaissance of name is like coupling based on the name of a variable or a name of a thing. Connaissance of position, connaissance of algorithm. So it's like different levels of coupling, kind of. And so one thing that's really bothering me about these methods is they have these super long lists of parameters, I guess, but whatever. So we're just going to look at the docs and try to stab our way through it. So part is required, and let's see, set the parameter value to snippet. Okay, sure, snippet. So snippet. And then I think options authorization is just something that we're going to want to pass for like every single one of these, but let's see if we can get this to actually dance for us. So we're going to go Rails C, and we'll say YouTube.new, YouTube session.last, and then we'll say y.fetch videos, and client secret is missing. Authorization failed. Client secret is missing. Okay, so let's try to like do it manually then. Okay, so we're gonna like start from, where'd it go? Let's start from this whole flow and see if our credentials are still valid. So we're gonna say YouTube session.last.credentials, which should be the credentials that we created yesterday, right? And then, oh, there is a missing client secret there. Huh. I wonder if that is what it's complaining about. All right, and then we're going to say, what is the next step here? We create a new YouTube service, and then we're going to like fetch mine true. Part, I think we'll just pass ID. Okay, so yeah, all right, so it does look like we do need to re-authenticate. So we're coming back here to localhost 3000/YouTube sessions, And we'll go through the same flow again. I think we're going to need to use that refresh token and set up a background task to refresh our auth key, our auth tokens, so that they stay fresh. So if I run through this again, let's see if we can get it to do what we want with the new credentials. So y.fetch videos. Okay. Bad request contains an invalid argument. Okay. So sending HTTP GET to Google API's YouTube v3 search for mine is true, part equals snippet. So let's see if they give us any more information here. The part parameter specifies the comma-separated list of one or more search resource properties. Search resource properties. Does this give you what those are? So these are the filters, but what is the part? So let's say try it. I don't know, let's see. What is this? Snippet? Can we do that? Execute with myself. We got a 200 back. Okay. So snippet does seem like that is the correct part. And then for mine, true. Let's see. Execute. Oh, contains an invalid argument. All right, so let's take that off. Let's take that part off. YouTube. Let's just take that off entirely, and we'll just say like, give me all the. Wait, how does this? No, that has to be a thing. For mine, right? For mine is true. So why is it an invalid argument? That doesn't make any sense, right? Because all right, let's read the docs a little bit better. So for mine is properly authorized request. So I wonder if you set this to true, then the types parameter value must also be set to video. The types type, where's the type? Type, do you see type? Okay, here, type. So do we need, all right, so for mine, true, type, video. Let's see if that works. Hey, look at that. We are looking at a list of videos. Sweet, very cool. All right, so this is epic. I love it. This is great. So what do we want to do next? Now we want to like actually ingest this and then create video objects, right? So like, how do we actually work with these videos? So here's another cool thing that you can do from IRB or from Pry. Underscore contains the most recent result. So when we ran this, when we called y.fetch videos, it made an API call. And if we make that same call again, it's going to make a second API call. So rather than rerunning the previous command, which made an API call, what we can do is we can say videos is equal to underscore, and that will like put the most recent return value into videos, which is nice. So that we can just work with videos directly now. So we can say like videos.methods.sort minus class.new.methods. That'll show us just like what are the specific video things that we might care about. So it looks like maybe items has the actual videos in it. So we say videos, videos.items, cool, .first. That probably gives you like a, okay, so it gives you a search result object back. We'll call it SR. So what is sr.methods.sort? And the other thing that I'm thinking is that we might just want to use the search. Well, I don't know, because it does have the description here. It does have the channel title. It has the channel ID, and it even has like thumbnails and so like, let's see. So SR, what did we do? So sr.methods.sort minus class.new.methods. Let's see what's in here. E tag, ID, kind, snippet. So sr.snippet is the search result snippet. This is going to have like the juicy stuff, I think. Like sr.snippet. Description. Yeah, okay. sr.snippet.title. Whoops. Oh, nice. Did you mean? That's cool. Nice. Cool. So this is the previous video, part 4 for the video manager. I think I might change the names of the titles and such, but so let's do snippet is equal to sr.snippet. Well, let's just say sr.snippet.methods.sort minus class.new.methods. Channel ID description, published at, title. I think this is fine. This is totally fine. Ooh, what does update bang do? I bet it's just a method to update that in-memory representation of the snippet. Probably not a big deal. Okay, let's store. So the other thing I was thinking the other day that we probably actually want to store like some versions of each description so that if we mess up, we can roll back. So I think what we want to do is create a snapshot of each video description. Every time we ingest it, if it's different, then we can create like a snapshot so that no matter if we edit the description from YouTube directly or if we edit the description from our application and we're updating it on YouTube, we can keep track of the description updates. So what I'm thinking is first we want to make this fetch to download the videos. We want to iterate over all of these snippets that are in the search results and pull out the video ID and see if we already have one of those videos. Then we want to create one if we haven't. If we have, then we want to probably snapshot like the title and description of the video, because those are the things that we're going to be controlling with this. We might also even want to download the thumbnails and like upload them somewhere, but we can get to that later. So my thought is that like each video we could have like revisions. So if you wanted to, you could look at like the history and what happened to the descriptions over time. So that if you accidentally like mess up and you change some template and it blows away all your descriptions, you can just sort of roll that back if you wanted. So that you have a little bit of like version control. So let's go do that. Actually, let's see, where were we at? So videos, does videos have like some concept of pagination? Videos.methods, no. Videos.methods.sort. So there is this token pagination. I think this next page token thing is what we need. And I think that we need to roll our own pagination because I don't think the client library in this case helps us, unfortunately. Potentially. Let's just go like briefly look and see if there's any super nifty helpers like there is in the Stripe client libraries for pagination. Each client provides control of retry, pagination, and timeouts. So how do I do pagination? I wonder if calling .each on items, is that going to automatically trigger pagination or what? Also YouTube, let's see. So pull up YouTube and I'm going to go to manage videos. And I don't think I have, yeah, okay, so I only have 76 and I think you get 100 back in the list. So we're not even gonna need to paginate for now anyways, so that's fine. All right, so the next thing we wanna do is, we have this like super basic YouTube thing, right, that just has fetch videos. So we want some way to run this fetch videos thing and then take the results of those videos and create video objects. So there's a couple different ways we could do this. We could keep the YouTube in here. I mean, technically we could just like implement a new thing that's like fetch and save videos that like calls fetch videos, iterates over them and saves them. So let's do like one more investigation into the YouTube API. here. I want to see if there's some reason that we might want to retrieve a specific video, and if there's some data that we don't get from the snippet that we might want, right? Like, I don't think so. There's a whole bunch of content details, file naming. Okay, yeah, let's just start with something super simple. We can always build on top of that, right? All right, so this is going to give us back our videos. And should we just call .items, I think, to give us like even more specific list, I think, maybe. Okay. Now, in production, we'll likely want this to run. How do we want this to run? We probably want this to run as a background job. But before we get there, let's just write it as a task. So app, oh gosh, where does it go? Config, no, lib, yeah, lib tasks. So we can say Rails G task. Let's see, dash help. Okay, so Rails generate task feeds fetch erase add. So Rails G task YouTube. Let's see. I think it's going to generate. Okay, cool. So then it's generating a YouTube rake task where we can say task fetch videos. Fetch videos environment do, and then technically you can pass like an argument to the block, but I think we just want to call like y equals YouTube .new YouTube session .last y.fetch videos .each do video, and technically that's going to be like a search result, right? And so then we're gonna need to like mess around with that in here. So let's pull up the search result object again just to like see. We'll have to do those two steps again. y.fetch videos. And now we should just get our items, which is right. And then videos.first.snippet. Okay, so then we just want to like pull out the snippet. So actually, like in fetch videos or in YouTube, in the fetch videos method, I'm going to say items.map. And I'm gonna have it pull out the snippet directly from there. So when we call fetch videos, we're just getting back the snippets so that we can just like call methods directly on those. Okay, so now we should be able to just like say puts, let's see, video.id, puts video.title, puts video.description, and let's just see what happens. So in order to run this rake task, we're going to say rake YouTube : fetch videos. So rake YouTube : fetch videos, and this will run our little task that we've written, I think. Undefined method ID for snippet. Okay, perfect. So here, okay, so there is no ID. What is there? Channel ID, thumbnail, description, published at. Wow, okay, so maybe it's videos.first.id. .video ID. Okay, so we can't just use the snippet. We need to use items because the snippet is too specific and we lose some data doing it that way. So we'll go back to our task. And so now each video has a snippet. and it has some like top level stuff. So this is going to be like snippet.title, snippet.description, and we'll try this rake YouTube fetch videos. Let's see what happens. Cool. Oh, yeah, the ID, it's like id.video ID, right? id.video ID. Awesome. This is so cool. Accept a payment with Perl. That was an episode I did a few days ago. Got the code for the post, the related blog post. So this is looking super cool. All right, so now what we want to do is create, so we want to say like, is there a video with this ID already? So YouTube ID, so we're going to say like video, or like, let's say vid, or like external video, just to keep it super clean. And then we'll create, we'll like look up the video here. So video equals video.find by YouTube ID, external video.id video ID, and if video.nil, then we want to create the video. So video.createBang, and here we're going to set title equal to snippet.title, and right, so, and YouTube ID is let's just say like, let's just make this like ID equals. Okay, so we're going to create a new video. We're going to set its title. Well, this is where we would also like create the description snapshot. But let's just see how this goes. So yeah, it's not going to have a description template or anything. I was thinking about having the description template be based on which playlist it's in, but for now, we'll just assume that the whole channel has some description template, and then we can get fancy with it later. So, all right, so let's cross our fingers and hope this actually creates a whole bunch of videos. That would be super cool. And a description template must exist. Oh gosh, okay. So we'll just say like description template.last. We'll have to come fix that later, because yeah, that's an annoying dependency, but okay, so reload from the Rails console, and I'm gonna just say like video.count, and there are 6. Interesting. What? Why are there 6? Oh my gosh, this is so odd. Okay. So that is definitely a video. That's a video. Are these all private? I wonder if these are just the ones that are not actually live. No, accept a Perl's live. Or I'm sorry, accept a payment with Perl is live. How come there's only 7 results? Only 7 videos. Okay, so now we get to figure out what's going on. Videos.items.count. Videos.count. 5. Huh. I wonder if 5 is the default limit on the results. So pagination, page info, total results, limit, YouTube search.list, max results. Okay, so let's try that. So in our YouTube thing, I wonder if it goes in options or max results here. And can I just say like 100? And is that going to give me more? Reload. Okay, cool. Y.videos or Y.fetch videos. Okay, unknown keyword. Let's see if I put it in here. Boom. Okay. Videos is equal to underscore. And then videos.count. 5. What in the world? Okay, so let's, okay, so we have y dot service dot list searches snippet for mine is true, and type is video, and then options is authorization is y dot auth client. Okay. So r dot methods dot sort. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with the pagination and the limit here, why we're only getting back that many pages. So in parameters here, like the way that this example is showing, it seems like we should be able to pass in max results into list. Max results is an unsigned integer. Oh, 0 to 50. Let's try 50. Oh, and it goes optional parameters. I think it goes here. So max results 50. No. Okay, we're still getting back just 5 items. How do we pass this thing? It's almost like I expected to be able to pass it in the same place that I'm passing the filter, but optional parameters. Channel ID, channel type, okay. What in the world? All right, we're going back to the library here. We got to read it because the docs are not helping us very much. So list searches, and does this thing take in a limit? All right, so it takes the part, channel ID, channel type, event type, for content or for mine, location, location radius, max okay, so max underscore results, of course. So it's not called max results like that. It's called max results the Ruby way. And now if I do r.items.count, 50. So 50 is fewer than our total, so we will need to paginate. So where do we want? I think we do want to do the pagination here inside of this YouTube thing, and then we'll just like, actually this would be kind of cool. So let's do the pagination, and then we'll yield each of the, so we'll update fetch video so that it takes a block, and then we will execute the block for each video that is returned in the search results. That way we can paginate, and it should be transparent. Rather than just like fetching every single video and returning it all in memory, I think if we do it by yielding those videos to a block, then if there's more and we haven't broken, like if the block hasn't returned and like broken out of execution, then we can keep executing. I think that might be how we want to do this. So let's just make this take a block. And the first thing we'll do is we're going to get our items back. Actually, now we need to like break this up a lot because we need to handle the case of needing to paginate. So how do we get the next items in the list? So here we have max results. Let's make this 1, just so that we have like an ID. And here we can say in which we implement authentication in the YouTube API. Cool. But this thing should have a next page token. So this next page token, I think we need to be able to pass that in somewhere. Page token. The page token parameter specifies a specific page in the result set that should be returned in an API response. The next page token and previous page token properties identify other pages that could be retrieved. So here we want to say like, is it next underscore or just page underscore token is equal to, and then like this big string. Okay, cool, great. So that was the previous episode. So that should work. So in order to implement pagination, we need to store off the page. And what we're going to do is, actually, yeah, how do we know? All right, how do we know if we're at the last page? So let's remove the page token from our API call here. Okay. Nope, we want to do max results 50 so that we can get the next page token. R.next page token. Okay, cool. So then we want to say page token is equal to R.next page token, and cool, R.next page token should be nil? No. Is it ever going to end? Oh, we're back to the first page. Weird. Okay. That's odd. Okay. How the heck? Published before, published after, Q, region code, related to video, safe search, topic ID. How the heck? Oh, order. Sort the order of the results. I bet we need to pass an order because otherwise, how does it know which page we're talking about? So let's go back to search, list, order. We just want to order by date, right? Like order date. Cool. Let's try that. So now we're going to say order date. I'm expecting that at some point we get no results back. Or that R.next page token is nil. There we go. Okay, so yeah, so next page token is nil. We're at the end here. This is like the oldest video that I have up. It's actually kind of cool. It's of me with some uncles making Windows 3 work. So yeah, cool. So let's do that. So we're going to check if, well, okay, so we want to do page.items.each do item block.call item, and then if we haven't, how does this work? So if in the block, so the user of this is going to go, the user of this is going to do something like so. we're going to say fetch videos. Instead of .each do, we're just going to say .do. And then if somewhere in here we say return, right, that'll break out and we won't go to the next page if we haven't already. So we're grabbing a page. If we get to the end and there is like more, let's see. So I think, yeah, we're going to want like a while loop, right? Like, or some sort of loop in order to go back to the beginning. Alternatively, we could recursively call this, but that's a little gnarly and dangerous too, depending on how deep your stack goes. So let's implement it by saying like, how do we want to do this? I'm going to use a do while loop. Do and while page.next page token .nil. Well, it's not nil. This is a do while loop. I am like super weird for liking do while loops. But yeah, okay, so yeah. So, sorry. I'm trying to think through the best way to do this. While next page token is not nil, do this thing. Yeah, like technically we want to run it twice, right? Like we want to run it without any page token. And then we do want to run it again with a page token, but the first time page isn't going to have any next page token, which is fine. So let's just try it. We'll do a do while. So do this thing while page.nextPageToken is not nil. So at the end of this, if the next page token is not nil, then we want to pass it in here. Page token is equal to nil, which is okay at the top there. And then down here we can say like page token equals page.next page token. And while page token is not nil. Oh, this is fun. This is super fun. Okay. So the first one, when we pass nil, that's going to be fine. I think that gives us the first page of results. That's totally cool. And then we're going to iterate and pass or like yield the items to the block, which is cool. And then after we've gone through all of those items, if the blocks are executing successfully, then we're going to end. And we're going to pull off the next page token. And if that's nil, that means that there are no more pages. And we'll end. If it isn't nil, then we will execute this loop again and pass the page token here. I think this is gonna maybe work. Let's try it. Oh gosh, we need some tests. We totally need some tests. Rails C. Actually, let's just run our rake YouTube video or fetch videos. I think that's what we called it. Yeah. Yeah, fetch videos. Oh, is do while not supported anymore? Is it begin end while? Ruby do while. I haven't written one of these for a long time. I once did an interview where I just like used do while loops the whole time just for fun. Okay, oh gosh, how do you do a do while? Loop do. Oh, come on. I thought there was a do while. Is there no loop do or do while? Loop do, and then it just has a break. Okay, fine. Loop do. Break if page token dot nil. That's not as fun, but whatever. Let's see. Run our rake task again. Ooh, it's taking a long time. That's exciting. That's exciting. Okay, Rails C. How many videos do we have? Video.count. 101. Wait, that's too many. It's supposed to only be 76, I think, right? I wonder if this is only counting uploaded. Okay, so then my lives, how many lives do I have? 25. Okay, so that's actually exactly right. Cool. So we go back to localhost. Come over here, go back home. Oh, look at that. Sweet. Hey, very cool. These are all the videos and they have been imported. And yeah, so we're going to call that the end of this episode. In the next session, what we're going to do is take each of these videos and make a button on this page that when we click it, it will update the description on that video. So yeah, I'm wondering if before we do that, if we want to implement the logic for snapshotting the descriptions so that we don't lose them. Okay, well, to be determined. We'll see you next time.